Welcome to Bob's Transit Van. Well, it's been a while, so I think I'll do an update, show you what I've done on the van in the last month or so. Let's go. Just about got all my electrical panel done. The only thing I haven't wired up is my Orion, so I'll lead you through the components that I've got in there. The battery is an ampere time 400 amp hour lithium. Going with one big battery simplified the wiring. I don't have to put the jumpers in there between batteries. It's just straight to the Lynx distributor. My ampere time battery weighs 86 pounds. I've got it sitting in a framework of 80/20 that's bolted to the cabinet, and then I've got two straps to hold it down. I've also got some heavy vast vinyl underneath it just as a little bit of a cushion. The other lug on the positive terminal of the battery is a temperature sensor, which goes to the Victron Energy Smart Shunt. The downside to using the ampere time batteries is they don't have low temperature charge protection. So Will Proust has done some reviews of these, and that's the only thing that he criticized them about. So I've got that temperature sensor on there so that it won't charge the battery if it's below 41 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius. There's the red master disconnect switch. Alright, so I got the Victron Energy Smart Shunt on the negative side, and the positive and the negative feed the Lynx distributors. I've got two hooked up. That way I can hook my air conditioning and a DC sub panel straight to the Lynx distributor. And of course this is based on a system that Nate at Explorers.life published on his webpage, and I just added some things to it. That little silver heatsink there is a 12 volt to 5 volt converter, so the lights on the Lynx distributor will function. Breakers on my DC sub panel, the RTX 2000, and the DC main panel. And on the back wall I've got my MPP charge controller and my solar panel disconnect switch. You really have to have one of those, otherwise you're going to have voltage in your system all the time. Then over on this wall I've got my Orion, which isn't hooked up yet. And then above that I've got the Servo GX, and that's talking to the MPPT and the Smart Shunt. And over on this wall I've got the Multiplus Compact 2000 watt inverter charger. I saw no reason to go with a 3000. I'm not going to have that many big loads. The biggest load I'll have will be an induction cooktop. And the white cable on the left is the incoming for the shore power, and then the big cable on the right is my AC out. And there's my AC DC distribution panel, and I've got an outlet there, and also the output of my Webasto, which is going in the back of this cabinet. See these cables here? The one that goes down is a cable that's going to go to an AC outlet, which will be over in the kitchen. And then the two DC cables, the one with the black insulation is for the RTX 2000 air conditioner, and the other black and red one is a 6-2 cable that goes over to the passenger side that'll feed the DC sub fuse box. And these go up behind the cabinet, and then they go over into the wall. And this right here is the DC sub panel feed, and this is for the AC outlet. I'm trying to limit how many wires go up over the roof. I think the only other two wires that I'm going to put over there is the level feeds from my tank sensors. They'll both be on the passenger side, and I need to get them over to the Servo GX. Above the electrical panel, I'm going to have a wooden cabinet with a door. Above the AC DC distribution panel is where my fridge is going to go. I didn't want to put my fridge on the floor, so I have to get on my hands and knees to see what's in there. So the fridge will be right here. It's a Isotherm 85 Cruise Elegance. And then above the fridge, I have a control center here. The box on the right is a Bluetooth amplifier. The Bluetooth amp system that I'm going to use here is from Parts Express, and I should be able to hook up any computer or phone into that through Bluetooth, and I'll have a pair of speakers built into the back of the van. And I've got my GX Touch 50 there. Looking at my GX Touch 50, my batteries are full. It says 100%, but you also have to look at the voltage and the amps. So 14.4 volts is what it's programmed to charge the battery to, and 0 amps tells me there's no current going into the battery. And then the box in the middle, the inverter is off. And then the solar charger is putting out 6 watts. The controls for the Webasto heater, and some switches which will go to turning the fridge off and on, some computer fans in this cabinet, and probably some lights. Behind the refrigerator panel, I've got my bed platform, It's on pivot, so I can open up and get to the storage underneath. Alright, so the bed, when it's folded down, these two legs out, give it a little bit more support. That gives me a 38 by 80 bed platform, which is called the Twin XL. I've got the mattress, I just haven't put it in here while I'm still building the van. Underneath the bed, I've got the Progressive Industries electrical management system with smart surge protection. There's a contactor in there that only closes if the shore power source checks out. That means the polarity's not reversed, the ground's not open, and the voltage and the frequency are within the parameters. Then the contactor closes to feed the shore power into your van. So once that turns on, then right up here I've got a 30 amp breaker that I use as an on-off switch mainly. So I leave that off most of the time. That way when I plug in, it tests it before anything is fed into the unit, into the camper. And on the rear end of the bed, I've got another AC outlet, and I've got the display for the Progressive Industries electrical management system. So it tells you what the voltage is, how much current's drawn, what frequency, and then the when it says E0, that means there's no errors. It means that the polarity's right, the ground is good, and the voltage and the frequency are good. Figure I'd put it on the end so whenever I hook up my shore power, which is underneath the van, I can easily see that display, make sure everything's all right.